Welcome to the FanCast podcast. I'm your host, Nathaniel, and my bros are with me today. We're talking football. Guys,
Hey, it's Bryant.
What's up? Cody's here.
Mario's here.
Jermaine Rezzo in the back, just doing my thing.
thank you. All right, we are going to start today with our pick'ems. No, we're not. Mario, why did you put this? What the hell?
Three top.
Just
Doing
my thing.
I'm sorry. It's because I don't. All right, guys. The FanCast needs to forgive me because I'm here reading our bullets for the day. My great friend Mario puts down fantasy. I don't know what that means, but he wants to take over this, and this is apparently going to be the funniest thing ever. Mario, can you start us off with the fantasy segment of the day?
I'm glad you wanted me to. So, I also prepared handouts so everybody can follow along. Link in the Discord for everybody to catch on, and we'll have this up. We'll have this up on the
You
screen.
put a lot of work in.
But I just want to say, this season has been a bizarro fantasy world, and we're just living in it. I want to look at the top 20 picks that were projected to go first 20, and just say how they've been underperforming. What is going on this fantasy season? And I say
Is this week 2?
This is week 2, but you know what? Like, I expect results. You know, everybody gets a bad week, but I'm breaking it down, and there's just been some terrible performances. I'm going to break it down pick by pick, the top 20. David Johnson got 7 points on IR.
Rest in peace.
So much hype.
Le'Veon Bell, holding out really paid off for you. Right now you're ranked 27th out of all running
He's
backs.
getting in shape.
He's got 13.8 points.
He's getting in shape. Just give him like 2 more weeks.
Projected pick number 3, Antonio Brown. He's been performing. I have nothing to say bad against this man. Number 4, Julio Jones. Rank 18. Kind of disappointing for a number 4 pick.
Should be a top 5 wide receiver.
Should be a top 5 wide receiver that you can count
Especially in Atlanta. Yeah.
on.
He'll even out.
Odell Beckham, with a whopping 3.6 points, is ranked 94th. There are 93 better fantasy players just at the wide receiver position you could have drafted here at the number 5 slot. He's not getting better anytime soon.
Can I take a second and say that I never bought into the Odell Beckham hype?
You should. He's been great.
He's been
I'm
great.
going to tell you exactly why. First off, I'm sorry, Odell and the old Beckham family. Like, my bad, but this is going to start some nagging injuries that are going to come back. The Odell Beckham that you knew was just like, it was a firecracker. And this is like the disappointing fade. Calling it.
This is the Odell Beckham of the future.
This is the Odell Beckham of the present and future.
That good old nagging ankle sprain.
Turf toe. It's going to be like just like turf toe. You're going to keep getting it.
All right. Anyway,
Moving along.
let's move on.
LeSean McCoy, next with that. He's the 14th ranked running back. I'd like to see top 10, but it happens. Mike Evans, he'll get the slide. He missed the game 1 with a nagging case of hurricane. Followed up, Melvin Gordon. So now we're in this round 2. Melvin Gordon is ranked 9. Oh, that's pretty good.
Right around where he belongs, yeah.
Yeah, all right, I'll let that slide. Next up, DeMarco Murray. DeMarco, where art thou, DeMarco? He has 8.8 points. That's not per game. That's for the year. What is going on? Last year I gave him all the credit in the world. He deserved it. He blew everybody out the door after a disappointing season with the Eagles. What's changed, DeMarco? What's changed? Why don't you want it anymore?
He's an every other year kind of guy.
Next up, Next up, AJ Green. AJ Green is ranked 28th out of all the wide receivers right now, getting 14.1 total points in standard scoring. Yeah, is it his fault? Is it the Ginger Cannon's fault? I don't know. Ginger Cannon's misfiring this season. Next up, Devonta Freeman, ranked 7 overall. It's pretty good.
Dude's going to be not a number 1 pick, first round pick next year, I think, if he keeps this up.
I could see it. 31 points in 2 weeks.
Fantastic.
Zeke, I'm just staying away from the whole Zeke situation. He might be suspended, he might not.
Who picked him up in our league?
Corey picked him up in our league, 2nd round. Too early for me, but it's paying off.
No, he grabbed him in the first round.
No, our first round was Aaron Rodgers.
No, second round was Aaron Rodgers.
We'll go to the tape after this. Next up, Jay Ajayi. Jay Ajayi also had
We
a
have a
suffering
tape?
case. Yes.
There's always tapes. Jay Ajayi.
Jay Ajayi also had a case of hurricane. Let that slide. Jordy Nelson, he got hurt, the first drive of the second game? Who knows how long he's out for. Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard's losing the job to Tariq Cohen. Who is that?
I think that's a stretch to say he's losing the job. It's going into week 3. Tariq Cohen had one great game, a lot in the passing game. I don't think Howard's losing his job. That's a stretch. Too early to say that.
And Howard, hold on. Howard was ranked 13 and has dropped 28 points.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Like,
Okay.
for the depth chart that you're showing
That's
us,
okay.
that's pretty
No,
good.
that's
His names
okay.
are green.
That's
Not a lot of
okay.
green names.
That's okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm just worried he's losing his job.
All right. Okay.
Last two rounding out with wide receivers, Des Bryant ranked 22 and Michael Thomas ranked 33 with respectable 16.2 points and 13.4 in standard scoring. But my point of this is, overall, these players in the top 20 should be performing. And there's a lot of underperformers. What is going on this fantasy season? Why are these no-names all of a sudden putting up points? And these reliable tried and trues, where do they go?
I think it's because scouting. Like you're looking at guys that were expected to do well, and you revolved the game plan around them. And the other guys, they came out of nowhere, and you're like, man, how do we stop this person? What do we do? What are we gonna do to kind of take them down? You just don't know yet. So personally, I think that's why.
Also, I think some of these teams aren't having the best overall, right? Like, with Des Bryant, I think that he's a little older. Like Cody was saying with the defenses, last year I was hearing reports that Dak Prescott wasn't a huge fan of Des Bryant. Like, I may be making that up, but I really do feel like I read some articles saying that, and I think that not that Des Bryant is gonna be, not that he doesn't have the talent. Like, I'm not saying that he's going to be a worse overall player, but I think that you may see Des Bryant's numbers go down a little bit, but still stay fairly good, just because the QB wide receiver connection isn't there like it was when Romo was throwing him the ball.
That's what I think too. I also don't think Dak Prescott is as pure a passer as Tony Romo was.
Yeah, and I think they're more of a running team since they got Zeke. You know, they don't need to throw the ball as much. They got Zeke, a great offensive line. So.
Okay, so now I just want 3 quick names I want to pull out of a hat. I want to play a quick game of buy, sell, hold. So if you have this player, tell me. Or are you trying to buy this player? You trying to trade for them? You trying to sell, trade them away? Or if you have them, you holding on to them. You think they're going to get better. First up,
All right, I love it.
OBJ.
I hold.
I'll start because I have OBJ on my team. I'm honestly thinking about trying to sell him.
Dang.
You got to sell them low. Like, that's the thing. Nobody's going to buy high.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if I'm selling him, but I would entertain offers for him. You know what I mean?
What is he worth?
I couldn't tell you. I'm gonna be honest.
I'd
I
say
don't know right
decent
now.
Tight end and
Wait.
a number 2 running back.
What are you saying, Nathaniel? You're saying buy, sell, hold.
I'm saying, initially I was gonna say hold because they're gonna keep trying to get Odell the ball in New York. That's just how that offense is set up, I think. But at the same time, when you were saying you should sell low, this is as low as I think it's gonna get. And if it gets any lower, I don't think somebody would take the chance on him. Like, if he goes 2 more weeks like this, I think you just have a dud. So with that in mind, I would sell him, and I would, depending on my team's needs, I think you could do a 2-for-1 because the upside is so great, and depending on, I don't know everybody's team in the league this year, so I don't know if someone didn't really draft wide receivers well, which I'm going to assume happens. That has to happen 1 year. You know, I think you could get a 2 or 3 rank running guard, and if it's like a 3 rank not running guard, running back, and pair that with a tight end, I think that'd be a fair deal. Like a decent tight end with like a level 3 running back or 2, depending. I think is a fair deal for Odell Beckham, just because his upside is that good, and if your team needs that position, he's a great piece to have there.
It's not so much Odell being the problem. Like even that, like they say, like Odell is hurt and everything, which is fine, but it's more so the fact that the Giants' offensive line is just a dumpster fire. That worries me.
Yeah, I think I think you hold on to him, mainly because if you sell him, you're definitely not gonna get what you paid for him, and the chances of him coming back and having at least a few good games are too high. I think you got to hold on to him. You know, you bench him for now. You start one of your backups. One of your bench players is bound to be doing better than him, so you bench him until he comes back, until the Giants figure it out, and wait and see approach. I just don't think you sell him because no one's gonna pay much for him. Wouldn't be worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm on the buy low if you can. I think that he's gonna bounce back. He's just one of those guys. It's a bad start. If you hold him, if you got him. If not, try to buy him low. Next up, I want to talk about DeMarco. Buy, sell, hold.
See, this is a player I think you sell. I think he's good if he can stay healthy, but I think the reason you sell him is because Derrick Henry is the man in that backfield, and I think he's coming for that job. Fast and furious, coming for that job. So I think you got to sell DeMarco because his value isn't really extremely low. You could probably get a decent amount for him.
Not extremely low. He's double-digit points after 2 weeks. What are you gonna get for him? A kicker?
Weeks, though.
What are you gonna get? What are you're trying to sell him? Who's gonna buy this?
I mean, I don't think
you could package DeMarco Murray with somebody and get something nice.
he also had a down. He had a down year in Philly and came back the next year. I mean,
yeah,
that's
but
a year.
This year.
That's
Yeah.
a year.
We don't
Okay.
hold on to a player in this league.
Well, the problem is,
yeah,
it's
no,
just,
there's
like,
no keepers. I'm talking about year to year. I think you try to sell him.
packaging players like doesn't work so well in fantasy football. It's just like I don't want 2 mediocre players for a good player. You know what I mean? Like people, that's how I look at it when I play fantasy football. Like I want when I'm offering a trade, it's so that I can improve in a different position than what I'm currently trading. So if I'm trading like a wide receiver, I'm trying to get a good running back out of it. So I don't know. If with DeMarco, I think you just don't know what you're going to get with him. So I try to sell him based on his name and try to kind of hope that somebody has more faith in him than I do.
Yeah, I'm on borderline drop with him. You hold him, maybe Derrick Henry gets hurt, but you try to sell him, I don't know what you get. All right.
I mean, all right, hold on. What if I came to you and I'm like, hey, DeMarco, he's a bad man in Tennessee. I know things are going a little rough right now, but he's healthy. He can still run. The offense needs him or needs a running game. He's on the chopping block. Looking at your team right now, what would you give up?
I wouldn't give up any. I would give up a tier 3 wide receiver at best. Tier just so something so low.
I'm giving up an Andrew Luckless T.Y. Hilton for DeMarco Murray.
That wouldn't be the worst deal. I
could see that happening.
Yo, Mario, do you have DeMarco Murray?
I ain't got DeMarco Murray. Next up, I want to talk about your boy Dez Bryant.
You keep Dez.
Hold on to him. He's getting better.
You keep him. Yeah.
You trying to buy him? You trying to buy him low? You think you could buy him low?
I don't think you buy him, but because in my opinion, like I said earlier, I think that he's going to plateau. I don't think that he's going to be getting the sugar as much as he used to, and I think he's gonna be having like tier 2 wide receiver numbers consistently. I think that's where you're gonna see him move forward. I really do. So I wouldn't. I don't see trading up for that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't see really pressing to make a deal for him. But at the same time, I think that he forms like a good backbone. Like if you're looking at your wide receiving core, like week in and week out, he would be. Like I remember when I played a few years ago, I had like Larry Fitch, and like Larry Fitch was just like the backbone of my team, or my wide receiving core. He was never really amazing, but he just kept that even tempo. I knew he was going to give me a little something when one of my hot shots like completely fizzled out, and that's what I see Des Bryant as.
Yeah, I think you try to buy him low. I think he'll be fine. He's going to get the looks from Dak, especially. Also, you got to think if Zeke gets suspended, they're going to become a throwing team a lot more than they are now, and Dez is going to get a lot of those looks. So I think you try to buy him low. If you have him, hold on to him. Give it a few weeks.
Love it. Last but not least, Jordan Howard, ranked 13th. Ranked 28th with 13 points. He has total. What are you doing with him?
You hold him. You got to hold on to him. He's still the man in Chicago. Chicago doesn't have the greatest quarterback situation or wide receiver situation, so they're clearly a team that's going to run. I don't think Tariq Cohen is really a threat to take his job because he's mostly like a scat back. Like you're going to throw this man the ball in the backfield, and he's going to do what he does with the ball. I think you keep Howard and he turns it around because I think that team's going to be rushing a lot. So
Yeah, I think Jordan Howard, like anybody who's realistically a running back one right now is still solid to hold on to. I mean, I know I just talked about giving away DeMarco Murray, but it also wouldn't hurt to like hold on to him either. Like I think holding on to any running back one is crucial in fantasy football with how easily running backs can go down.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
All right. I say you try to sell him to somebody who sees his upside. It's not worth the hold. That's it.
Do you have him? I'll take him.
I got him. You want him?
Yeah, I'll take him.
We'll talk later.
Oh,
That's
all
it.
right.
That's all I got. That's all I got for this segment. Just a quick recap. It's been a bizarre fantasy season. I'm not liking it. I don't know where it goes from here.
You know what? I'm gonna give you a quick little clap because I did not see that coming. And great job on that segment. I loved it.
Thank you.
All right, so
Are you clapping?
I did clap. I can clap louder. Hold on.
We don't need
Oh,
it.
okay.
The world needs to hear this. I hope you guys got that. If not,
We got it.
Very
great.
nice.
All right, so moving on to our next segment, winners and losers of this past week. I'm going to go ahead and go first, and I'm going to be the bigger man in this situation and say, maybe, just maybe, I was a little hyped on the Chicago Bears. But I will not say that they were the losers of this past week. The losers, in my opinion, have to be the Carolina Panthers. They came out with a
stealing my loser.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, but like,
Bryant, there's plenty to go
there's
around.
plenty to go around. This was
Yep. All right, go ahead.
All right, so the Carolina Panthers. This was one of the games I was fortunate enough to watch, and boy, did it like this team a year ago should have scored at least 27 points on this team. At least 27, in my opinion. And to see how they struggled to put points on the board, to see how they struggled to look NFL ready, in my opinion, is just amazing. Is dumbfounding to me. So they have to be my losers. You can't. This can't be week 2, and this is the type of performance that you're putting up, and you're talking about being a real contender, especially with the talent that you have at certain positions. You have a talented defensive player, and you have one of the best, in my opinion, quarterbacks in this league. You can't have performances like this. Like, you don't have as many rings as Brady, so I'm sorry. Now, the team that I think had the best week, or the winner of this past week.
Let's do losers. Let's get a round take our losers.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to do round? All right, cool. We'll do it like that.
All right, I'm gonna hop in before somebody else steals my thunder here. I'll go with a team that actually lost this week. I was considering picking the Seahawks, but I'm gonna go with the Chargers on this one. I don't see how Phillip Rivers has any confidence left in the Chargers. They just every single week just seem to come up short. And I don't know. I just don't think Phillip Rivers is having fun playing in LA, wherever they are now.
He's made it clear he was not about going to LA at all.
Because it's just they've lost like 8 games in a row now, or 9 games in a row since last year, something like that. And I don't know. I just think like the Chargers are just demoralized. I don't see them finishing much better than 6-10 this year.
All right, my loser. I actually have 2 because they both played equally as bad. Both from the same conference.
Ooh.
I'm gonna have to go with first the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh yeah.
The Denver Broncos made them look like a JV team. It was so hard to watch. They lost 42-17. Zeke had 9 carries and 8 yards. And you know who had more rushing yards than Zeke last week? The GOAT, Tom Brady. Had 9 rushing yards.
He sneaks it in.
Best that ever was.
And Zeke had 8. And it was just, he couldn't get the ball anywhere. And I don't know if he's got the suspension on his mind or what's going on with that team, but it's sad.
They were exposed.
They were exposed.
They were exposed.
Defense, but you don't lose 42-17. That just doesn't happen. If you're coming in expected to win that conference and you lose that bad, I'm sorry, they got some problems there that they got to address. Problem is their defense is a problem too. I mean, the Broncos aren't necessarily the top offensive team, but to put up 42 points against it, I mean, come on. And the other team in the East is the Giants.
Of course,
the Giants. I mean, they got Beckham back. It didn't change anything. It did not change a single thing. I know he's still hobbled and still hurt. But I watched this game the other night, and they were dropping passes left and right.
Brandon Marshall looked awful.
Brandon Marshall, where? What? It's like he's in witness protection. I don't know where this guy's been the past 2 weeks. He caught 1 pass in week 1. He caught, I think, 2 the other night, and then he dropped a few. I mean, it's just Manning's chucking the ball, and no one's catching it. They have no run game to speak of. Their offensive line is like paper thin. I think we could put together a better offensive line than they have. It's just so disgusting.
I can probably tell you, though, real quick, where Brandon Marshall is.
Where is he at?
At least in the L-Town SmackDown, he is now in free agency, if you guys want to find him somewhere.
It's a good place for him. That's where he should be for now, because he is. That's where he deserves to be.
Oh, yeah, and for
the losers.
Real quick, guys, for our listeners out there, L-Town SmackDown is our group fantasy league. Who's in, like, between the people in this call right now? Who's up? Who's in first place?
Bryant is 2-0.
The man who's 2-0 is dropping players left and right.
Dude, I have made some moves this offseason, or not this offseason, in this fantasy season. I did not draft well. Let me just say that. I drafted poorly. I drafted Jamal Charles and Adrian Peterson and Brandon Marshall.
Those were safe
He
picks.
didn't learn his
4 years
lesson.
ago.
He didn't learn his lesson. He's drafting like a 2008 fantasy team.
Yeah, I was. Mario also 2-0.
Damn right.
Me and
Right,
Mario are,
yeah.
me and Mario are the only ones who are 2-0. I didn't know that.
I am 1-0-1. But I am only 0.34 points behind the league leading points, behind our friend Brandon there. So I'm leading for the league in points. I just
Doesn't
had some
matter.
check book, but I'll be good.
The most improbable tie. NFL.com allows decimal points to the 10th degree.
100.
Wait, you
100th
tied?
degree.
Yes, I
Yeah,
tried.
Tied. That's awful. It's so funny.
What was
Ty
the score?
Montgomery on Sunday night.
69.96 to 69.96.
The 69-96.
And you know what the sad thing is my defense got -1. So if I just didn't start a defense, I would have won.
All right.
All right.
Anyway, Mario, who is your loser?
My loser is the Vikings. They went from looking like the favorites of the division to looking like a garbage time roster. And it's a shame because Sam Bradford, from my understanding, he's still week to week, and week 1 was the best game of his career. And then week 2, it just showed how much they need him.
Yeah, then he hurt his knee again.
Then he hurt his
Guys.
knee again.
He's always hurt. Why do you stand up for this man?
It's not always hurt. And when he doesn't, and he's not hurt, he plays well. If he's healthy, they have a chance to win that division. But this is a good transition to the winners of this week, because I will tell you who will win this division, the Detroit Lions. If the Detroit Lions were the Dallas Cowboys, that's all anybody would be talking about this week. They looked great. They never once looked like they were not in control of the game. And it's weird, because when I think Lions, I think fourth quarter comeback. That was not needed this week. That was not needed Monday night. They dominated from start to finish. They actually won a game with more rushing yards than passing yards with Matt Stafford on your team, because you could just run out the clock for that long.
All right, we'll snake this way back. Cody, what do you think? Who's your winner?
My winner was the Tampa Bay Bucks. I know I said I was big on them last week. I picked them to win the playoffs. They won 29-7. I think it was an emotional game. Obviously tough coming back from week 1. They didn't play because of the hurricane, but they came back and they won. I know they played the Bears, but I picked them as a winner. I think they're going to keep that up through the season. It was a good start today.
Fair enough. My winner probably has to go to the Denver Broncos, proving, I think, a little bit to the league that they're not just a defensive team, that they can put up points if the opportunity allows it, which their defense pretty often puts them in a good position. I think they're proving. I believe I picked the Broncos to win the division, so it just kind of puts fuel in the fire for me a little bit more. Trevor Siemian, showing that he has potential to be a pretty strong quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Well, now that you got those picks out the way, I'm going to tell you who the real winner was, and that was none other than the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, soak it in. Soak it in.
They played the Browns!
You shut your mouth.
I like the
All
Browns
right?
this year.
The Browns this year, solid team. Thank you, Mario. They're on the come up. Also, when your Eagles beats anybody, you guys talk. So I don't care who they beat. They beat them. And they're a solid 2-0. We're getting back to the game, baby. And it's going to be awesome. The Ray Wright curse is gone. Flicking Flacco's just throwing it up. I don't want to say that he's MVP worthy, but you never know. After week 3, it might be a wrap. And that's all I have to say. Baltimore Ravens, the biggest winners of this past week. Mic drop. All right, okay. So speaking of that, let's talk about our early, way too early predictions for this year. I'm talking offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, defensive player of the year, offensive player of the year, MVP, coach of the year, all of that. Now, I feel as though I could just go down the Ravens roster and just name off the living legends on that team, but that wouldn't be fair to you guys.
And
so
you
I'm going to go ahead. like I said, Mario. Let's not interrupt people. So I'm not gonna do that. I will openly say I will not choose a Ravens player. So whoever wants to go first, go ahead. I think Cody's trying to say something right now.
All right. So why don't we start with the MVP? So
Well, you finished with MVP.
Wait, yeah, you got to finish with the MVP. Start at
you want to finish with
Offensive
the
Rookie of the
MVP?
Year.
Yeah, you obviously. We're gonna go through offensive rookie, defensive rookie,
Okay.
comeback, defensive player, offensive player, coach, MVP.
All right. The offensive rookie of the year is going to be Kareem Hunt. Just through 2 games, I don't think anyone saw him being this good. People knew he was going to be good, but he has just been running all over teams. So I think he's going to win the offensive rookie of the year.
All right. I think offensive rookie of the year, despite all the shit that I just talked about Cleveland, I think it's going to be Deshaun Kaiser, man.
Oh, yeah. I think so. I
I
think so
think-
too.
I think this guy. I watched. I don't know if you guys watch the Gruden QB camp things, but I love those things. I love me some Gruden.
Oh, he's great. I love his
So-
insight. Yeah.
So watching these QB camps and watching the way that Deshaun Kaiser carries himself and the way that he performs under these situations, I think he's going to be real good, and he's my pick to really push the Browns, and he's going to win himself a offensive rookie of the year.
And I hate to just literally echo what you just said, but I couldn't agree more. The Browns are on the up and up. They just had 2 really tough games. 2 division games, never easy. So now they're moving on to Indianapolis. They're going into Indy where they're favored. This is the start of a 3-game win streak at least for Cleveland.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and agree with my man Cody. Mr. Hunt is putting in all the work. If he just stays, even if he falls off slightly, I don't see how you don't give him the offensive rookie of the year for this. The way he's been playing, I know it's really early, but it's special.
All right,
Defensive rookie.
take it away, Cody.
All right. Defensive rookie of the year. I'm going to go with Jamal Adams of the New York Jets. He's the safety they drafted 6th overall because, they had high hopes for him coming out of LSU. I think the Jets are going to be on defense a lot, which gives him many opportunities. Many opportunities to show what he's got. So I think he's going to come away with defensive rookie of the year. I probably would have gone with Myles Garrett had he not been injured the first two games this year. But I'm going to say Jamal Adams.
All right. Now, see, personally, I don't know what Nathaniel's saying about not picking homer picks here, because that's what I'm about to do. I think the young cornerback out of West Virginia, Mr. Rasul Douglas of the Philadelphia Eagles, is going to prove to be a top 10 corner in the league in a couple of years, and I think he's going to take Defensive Rookie of the Year this year. Just looking at how well his on-ball instincts are and how fundamentally this man tackles, which I haven't seen in Philadelphia in 5 or 6 years, is just, I think he's going to take it.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I tried not to pick any homers here, but I'm gonna go ahead and choose the same guy as Cody, because honestly, I don't know any defensive rookies this year. And I was looking at the Ravens roster, and man, are their rookies unimpressive right now. So, whatever Cody said, yeah. That sounds fantastic. Mario?
Love the enthusiasm. I'm going to say Myles Garrett comes back, is healthy. Browns win both offensive and defensive. Rookie of the year.
Oh, snap.
Complete
Wow,
package.
you're really big on the Browns this year. Like,
Love it. Love
Man.
them.
I mean, I think they're gonna be good, but you are like all
Wait,
in.
so that means that the Ravens beat a quality team.
Yeah, I'd say so. Next, comeback player of the year. A lot of good choices for this one.
I agree. I'm gonna go with Mr. J.J. Watt as the comeback player of the year. Obviously, he missed
Oh,
last year with the injury, but I think he wins comeback player of the year this year.
I'm going to be brutally honest in saying that I'm not 100% versed on who could potentially win comeback player of the year this year. So I'm just going to go ahead and bite the bullet here and just say Jay Cutler, man. Jay Cutler comes in and wills Miami to a potential wild card.
Yeah, I don't know why Nathaniel's huffing and puffing. I 100% agree. Jay Cutler was about to go, take off, go in that broadcasting gig, pull the Tony
that's where
Romo
that man
route.
belongs.
But you know what? They offered Smokin' Jay a job, and he said, sure.
It's
like, yeah,
exactly
I'll-
what he said.
He's like, sure, I'll take millions of dollars.
And
I'll
he's-
take $10 million to play with you for a year and chuck the ball downfield.
He's gonna look great if he doesn't will them to the playoffs. The AFC's tough this year. I can see them coming up just short, but he still gets enough to get comeback player of the year.
Now, I don't know if this man technically counts because I'm in the same boat as my main man Bryant here, but I'm gonna go with Adrian Peterson. And that's it.
All right.
I'm gonna let that be.
Adrian Peterson.
What else do I have to say?
Yeah,
You know what?
yeah.
There is nothing to say. There is nothing to say.
Right, there is nothing to say in regards to that. All right, here we go.
All right, so comeback player of the year. Now we're at defensive player of the year. Man, I wish there was we were talking earlier about the Panthers, and they have this great linebacker. Do you guys remember his name?
Luke Kuechly.
I'm gonna choose him for defensive player of the year. If I'm gonna tell you why. One, because he makes a mean Campbell's soup commercial, and if you can't make a good commercial that makes me want to buy very salty soup, then I don't know what you can do. Also, going back to the game that they played this past weekend, their defense was the best looking thing there. And if we're seeing a trend of that offense not being able to produce, I think that he's going to get a lot more abilities, or I'm not saying abilities, chances to make the type of plays that we've known, that we've come to expect from him.
All right. I'm actually going to go with Nathaniel. You'll like this pick. I'm going to go with C.J. Mosley, the Ravens linebacker.
Ooh.
He has been putting up some good numbers in the first couple weeks. I was big on him last year. I had him in an IDP fantasy league, and he did disappoint, but I think this is the year he steps it up, and he's going to tackle his way to Defensive Player of the Year. Maybe the only thing the Ravens win as a team, but...
Guys, I told you before, if the Chicago Bears don't win it this year, the Baltimore Ravens are going to pick up the slack for the team.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with somewhat of a, I'm going to say, under the radar pick, who looks like he's poised to have a breakout year, especially after what he did to us last week. I'm going to go with Chris Jones, the defensive end from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Good pick.
He has
he had a beast week last
he has 3 sacks through 2 games, 2 forced fumbles already, and an interception. I think this man is poised to just ruin quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good. He did. He filled up the stat sheet last week. It's a good pick.
I see Von Miller taking it. I think partially you need to have a name to win Defensive Player of the Year. You got to have a household name. And I think that just dominating Dallas just showed how good Denver's defense still is. So I'm going to take the face of that defense is the Defensive Player of the Year.
All right, I can see that. I feel like that's a safe pick. I'm gonna live a little dangerously with my offensive player of the year, and say it's going to be Kareem Hunt.
Oh yeah, he can't win defense. He can't win offensive rookie of the year if he wins offensive player of the year. That's how I'm feeling about Kareem Hunt.
What?
That's how I'm feeling about Kareem Hunt. He doesn't win offensive rookie because he wins offensive player of the year.
I think you can win both, can't you?
Why can't he win both? That makes no
win
sense.
both. You can win both.
You guys are missing the point. I'm
Alright,
saying
I think
Kareem
that's-
Hunt wins offensive player of the year.
Look, he wins everything that he's eligible for. This man is having a great year. I don't see why. I don't see picking anybody else over him. I'm sorry, he's just doing very, very well, and I'm gonna really enjoy watching Kansas City play for the next 14 weeks.
Okay, well, I feel like offensive player of the year is pretty oftentimes a quarterback, so I'm going to go quarterback. And there's only one quarterback who's currently leading the league in QBR. Okay?
Obviously,
That-
it's the
that
nature of
is-
leading.
That is Mr. Game Manager himself, Alex Smith, is going to take offensive player of the year this year.
Deserves it.
134.1 QBR through all of the miraculous 2 games there have been in the NFL season. He takes offensive player of the year.
See, Brian, before we even move on to the picks, I gotta just say, again, I don't see that happening because that's the man who's winning MVP this year. Game manager himself, Alexander Smith, wins MVP of the National Football League. Game manage this. That's what the T-shirt's gonna say.
Oh my god.
You're gonna
jump
that
though.
t-shirt.
All right.
You know what, Mario? How about this? If he wins it, you have to make that T-shirt.
I will wear that T-shirt proudly.
So you have to make it. I don't think it's gonna be a T-shirt. You need to make that T-shirt.
I'll make a profit. I'll make a killing. Alex Smith.
You're
People always
gonna lose.
knock this man for being a game manager. You know what? There's nothing wrong with being a game manager. He can handle it. The defense is good enough. He's good enough to not only make sure you don't lose the game, but he'll put you in enough of a winning position where you win the game. And it doesn't matter if you win by 100 or you win by 1. A win's a win. And he wins MVP.
I'm gonna have to go with. Are you ready for it?
Well, yeah, we're still on offensive player of the year. Okay.
Yeah, offense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I said my defense player. I didn't go with offense.
No, I know. It's just Mario jumped into MVP, so I just wanted.
I don't know. He jumped the gun. He got a little too happy there.
Guys, Mario gets really excited sometimes and doesn't know how to control his emotions, feelings, and sometimes he just
I know. He's still working. My offensive player of the year is actually going to be Tom Brady himself.
Goddamn.
I'm sorry. I mean, you guys have all gone with homer picks. I mean, I think it's just obvious. First of all, he's leading the league in passing yards and touchdowns. So the man threw 3 touchdowns in the first quarter last week.
Yeah, but what
He's
about?
won offensive player of the year with limited weapons, mind you. Limited weapons. I think he.
Can we say Brady has limited weapons at this point? Because we've seen him operate at a high level with literally anything. So is that even a thing at this point?
It doesn't
I mean, it's
diminish
a
the
thing. It
fact.
just means he's amazing. It's still a thing, though. I mean, yeah, it's still a thing.
It doesn't diminish it.
There's limited weapons. He's basically operating without his top receiver from last year. He's now short on a tight end. Yeah, limited weapons, but he's doing something with it, and that's why he's going to throw his way, and not game. He's going to game manage and throw his way to offensive player of the year.
All right. I feel like I know the answer to this question already, at least from Mario. But Mario, please tell me who your coach of the year is going to be.
Do you just complete it and just give it to Andy Reid?
I
I mean,
knew it.
You just got it, right?
No.
Why?
Why? Because he's going to, again, who had Kansas City as a top 3 team going into this year?
Everybody.
I'm going to say nobody. I'm going to say a few and far between people, especially not many outside of Kansas City. But what he's done is he's proven that you can game manage your way to victory. You don't need to be flashy. Spurs have been doing it for years in the NBA, and he's like, guys, let's just be the Spurs in football. And it's going to work, and it's going to reap benefits to him when he wins. When he plays the Super Bowl against the Lions.
Oh my God!
I'm going to go. I'm going to go with a rookie head coach this year. Vance Joseph, the head coach for the Denver Broncos. I think what he has done for that team, he's first of all made Simeon into a better quarterback, and he has upgraded, if you can even say the defense got better from last year. The Denver Broncos, I think they're going to make the playoffs. He's going to win Coach of the Year because I think he's made a big difference on that team.
I respect both of your answers, but you're both wrong.
Then tell us who is.
Tell me what.
Who is it? What's going on?
Well, it's simple, really. It's Raider Nation, Jack Del Rio, of course.
Jackie
Okay.
Del Rio.
Yo, Raiders.
Why are you saying
He
that?
got Marshawn dancing.
Because they're going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Wow.
They're going to win the Super Bowl. They're going to go at least 13-3.
At least.
Yeah, absolutely.
In that
Jack Del
division.
Rio. Yep. They won handily last week. They won handily the week before. Derek Carr has, under quarterbacks currently playing right now, obviously Sam Bradford's a little hurt, so he doesn't really count. Has the second highest QBR. I think Jack Del Rio. And I again, the Raiders are my pick to win it all, so.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and shock the world with this pick.
Don't say Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick.
Okay. Yeah, I respect it.
This man deserves it.
I just hate him.
You know how I talk about LeBron? I should talk about like Bill Belichick and Tom Brady the same way. They are very good at what they do. And Bill Belichick, I don't know if he just he employs like a small sweatshop full of interns that just go through the rule book every day, like every hour of every day, finding every different interpretation of every rule so that he can get the edge somehow. But we all knew that there was going to be a comeback. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you were honest with yourself, you kind of felt a little bad for whatever team was going to face the Patriots after that loss, because they're not going to lose two of those in a row.
I told you guys. I said that last week. I told you guys they weren't going to be embarrassed, and boy, they were not embarrassed. If anything, they embarrassed the Saints.
They got weaker as a team in terms of depth after that first game, and to come back and do this. Now, I'm not trying to say that. I mean, I'll put it like this: if any of the head coaches you guys just said had put on a coaching performance like Bill Belichick just did, would you disagree with making this early pick of that person being coach of the year? No, we're accustomed to Bill Belichick doing fantastic things with a scheme, with a game plan, but I don't think that should put him at a disadvantage for getting the recognition he deserves. So
he'll definitely always be one of those people that's in the conversation. Just like, LeBron is always in the conversation for MVP, Tom Brady is always in the conversation for MVP. It's just people get, like, voters fatigue. You know what I mean? Like, just voting for the same person every single time. Do they deserve it every year? Maybe. But it doesn't mean that they're going to get it every year.
But I think Nathaniel made some good points on why he could get it this year. With the exact thing, like, yeah, they lost a little depth after the first game. They're even shorter, and they're still winning. So I think that's a lot of coaching, really. So I think he made a good point that that's why he could win it this year.
Yeah. All right, guys. It's time for the MVP. You were harping on him earlier, Mario, so go ahead.
Wait, we didn't speak about the rushing title. We didn't go over who wins the rushing title.
Rushing title's not an award.
Yeah, that's not one of the... All right, I'm gonna go with Kareem Hunt because he's that good.
All right, I'm going to go with the real smoking Jay from Miami, Jay Ajayi. I think he's going to win the rushing title. This man knows how to run. Last year he had like three 200-yard games, and in one game he got 122 yards. I think he's going to win the rushing title.
I agree. JJ, and he's proven himself even more to be the workhorse that he is. He got something like 30 carries or in that area last week. He's gonna win the rushing title.
I don't think he wins the rushing title for the fact that he is a running back playing 16 weeks straight. I think the fatigue catches on to him at some point, and he does not lead the league in rushing. Kareem Hunt puts up this Offensive Player of the Year season, which includes the rushing title.
Man.
Real recognized real.
Exactly. MVP, I already gave my spiel. I feel like it was pretty clear cut. He's the game manager himself. I don't see how there's another choice, but if you want to try to prove me wrong, so be it.
I'm going to prove you wrong with one word.
That's
Go.
There it is.
Oh my god.
There it is.
You know, I can't. You know what the thing is? Like, what can you say to that? It's
You can't.
like you can't say anything to that. I was thinking about picking Brady too. I was like, it's such a no-brainer pick. I feel like that's why we hate it so much.
This man played he was suspended 4 games last year and was still in the conversation for MVP. And he played 4 less games than any other player. So with those 4 games this year, playing a full season, he takes it.
I'm going to stick to my Super Bowl guns here, and I'm saying Derek Carr. I think that Derek Carr is within the next 5 years is going to be the best quarterback in the NFL.
bold.
That's bold, but like I could see it. I like that bet. I think even if he doesn't win it this year, he'll get some votes. If he plays a full season, he's got some talent, a lot of upside.
I think I'm gonna go with. This is a little tough. Man, I really wanted to say Brady.
I mean, you can.
Yeah, you can if you want.
I know, but it just sounds so cheap now.
Cheap songs to make it.
You know, what, I'll have fun with
You want to
this
be
one.
right or do you want to be cheap?
No,
You
know,
know
I'm
who you
gonna
should
have
say.
fun with. I mean,
You should
I
say Zach Ertz, Mr. Third in the league in receiving right now.
Oh,
A tight end? When was the last time a tight end won the MVP?
I don't think ever. But the point is he's third in the league, including wide receivers, in receiving right now.
I mean, that's a pretty good pick, because I was just going to cop out and just say, the man, the myth, the legend, Joe Flacco is going to be the MVP after
Get out.
leading the Baltimore Ravens undefeated through the playoffs into the Super Bowl, where they beat that team 36-23.
They beat another AFC team in the Super Bowl. And I mean, would you even say Joe Flacco's elite?
I mean,
I
Joe
mean,
Flacco
would
would
you-
say Joe Flacco's elite.
Would you say that Jay Cutler's elite?
That's not what I asked.
That's what I asked, though. Exactly.
Wait, I don't get your argument. Are you trying to say they're similar players?
No,
Or
'cause
that
he's
what are you
no.
trying to say?
Mario does this thing where he tries to disrespect Joe Flacco, but he was so about Jay Cutler.
Are we
who-
gonna compare? Sorry, are we gonna compare Joe
a Super Bowl
Flacco
champion?
to someone who
A Super Bowl
almost
champion?
retired and then came back? That's just like, are you saying that Joe Flacco should have retired this year, but then just came back because he got a good 1-year deal? Because if we're comparing, I'm not going to compare an apple to an orange. So are we comparing apples to apples?
I'm saying peaks.
Why are we talking about peaks? We're talking about right now.
Are we talking about peaks?
We ain't.
We talking about peaks.
Next.
Next, all right, guys, we are going to the pick'em section. So we can go through each game if you want. I will. You know what? I'll go ahead and just say the games for week 3, and you tell me if you think they're gonna win or not. All right?
Same
All
order
right.
as last week.
What was the order of last week?
I feel like we could go in any order. All right, because we're gonna. All right, guys, we are actually gonna start keeping track of this. So, stay tuned to our page to see who's in the lead this year.
Oh, true. For records, for who
Yeah,
picked
for
them.
records. So
Yep.
let's do. How about alphabetical order? So Bryant, Cody,
Mario,
and then me.
All right.
Oh, and then of course Rezo, in the back as always. He'll give the silent sleeper picks.
Might be dead. All right.
Take it away.
All right, so between Rams, 49ers, Bryant, who you got?
Rams.
Rams.
All right,
Rams.
I got 49ers.
Oof.
I
Wow.
got 49ers. I'm not big on the Rams. I'm not saying that they're not doing well. I'm not saying that they can't beat this team. I'm just feeling the 49ers this week.
By definition, you're saying they can't beat this team by picking the other team.
You know what, Mario? Thank you. Sometimes I need to be corrected. Moving on to the Ravens-Jaguars game.
All right. Ravens have two people leading the league in interceptions this year. I'm gonna go Baltimore. I don't think that Bortles can hang against Baltimore.
Damn straight.
Yeah, after what I saw from Jacksonville's defense last week and what Tennessee did to them, I'm going to have to say Ravens too.
You guys already know that I'm not going to roll with anybody other than my Ravens, so I'm glad that you guys recognize what was really good. All right, here's one. Browns, Colts.
Wait, did we skip?
Jacksonville
did we
wins
skip-
that game.
Get Mario.
Oh, my bad, Mario.
Jacksonville
Mario-
wins that game.
Mario picked Jacksonville.
They don't get embarrassed at home. The coach realizes that you're right. If Bortles is going to air this out, you're going to lose the game. So you pound him on the run. Fournette looks great. You win that game. Jacksonville wins that game.
All right, fair enough. Apologize for skipping over you, bro. Let's get to this Browns-Colts matchup.
Wait, Browns.
Browns.
Oh,
or
okay.
Colts?
I'm gonna go Browns.
Yeah, Browns as well.
Browns start their 3-game win streak here.
They're the favorite for the first time since like 2014, I think. Yeah, they're favored to win this.
Wow. You know what? I'm also going to go with the Browns. Like, we were talking about them earlier. They do have a good squad. And without Andy Luck there, I don't believe in this team right now. So I'm going Browns as well. All right. New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles.
Philly.
Fair.
Yeah, the Eagles until the Giants get things straight. No, the Eagles win.
Eagles win this NFC East matchup. It's going to be a good game, but the defense the Eagles defense just swallows up the New York Giants whole. They never get a run game established. Brandon Marshall doesn't show up yet. OBJ is hurt. Eagles win.
I'm going to go with the Eagles as well. I think they win this game.
Love it.
All right. Dolphins, Jets.
Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins. I don't think I'm going to pick the Jets to win any game this year. Honestly, I don't think they win any game, so I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
Jets stun the world. Wins this game. One of two they win all year, but this is one.
Wow.
Okay.
Do you think the next one's going to be like a surprise win against a good team?
Well, we'll have to wait
Or
till that
so-
pick'em week till I tell you.
Ooh, I like it. All right, I'm also going to go with the Dolphins. I mean, it's the Jets. Okay, here's a good one, in my opinion. Broncos, Bills.
I don't think it's a good one at all. I think the Broncos win
not a
pretty
good one.
handily.
I think it's a good one.
I'm gonna go with the Broncos. Their defense way too elite. Broncos win.
Denver wins
awesome.
handily.
I'm going to go with the Bills. I'm going to go with the Bills, and I'm going to be right. So, thank you.
You know when I
Saints
said
Pan-
earlier your record was going to be 2-14 once? This may be the week, man. This could be.
All right, Saints Panthers.
Well, Carolina's finally going up against a good offense, and they are going to get destroyed by New Orleans.
Yeah, the Saints.
Yeah, Drew Brees doesn't get embarrassed in back-to-back weeks. Saints win it.
He doesn't because he did. They lost the first
I
two.
also say Saints.
Yeah, he did get embarrassed the first 2 weeks.
No, maybe not embarrassed the first week, but he lost 2 straight weeks.
Lost 2
But he
straight
doesn't
weeks.
lose 3.
Doesn't
He doesn't
yeah,
lose 3.
doesn't lose 3.
Yeah, they'll win this week.
All right, guys. All right. Up next, we have the Steelers and the Bears. You already know who I'm about.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the Steelers, definitely.
Yeah, Steelers look great here. Maybe Le'Veon Bell actually makes a name for himself this game.
I don't know why you guys are disrespecting the possible winners of the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Chicago Bears. They're winning this game. This starts. I'm calling a 3-game win streak, and this is the game to get them there. Moving on from that, we're gonna go to Falcons Lions.
This might actually be a good game, but I think this is where Detroit gets served their first loss and Atlanta wins.
Yeah, Falcons, definitely. They looked good last week against the Packers.
Definitely. Definitely, he says. I don't see it. Lions just blew out New York. I understand New York is kind of their own mess right now, but they just look too good to be stopped by Falcons. They're at home in Detroit. I see them winning this game. Maybe it's another patented Matt Stafford fourth quarter comeback, but he wins.
I'm gonna go with the Falcons. I don't believe enough in Matt Stafford to pull out this win, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Falcons for this game.
Hey, your
Buccaneers
guys'
Falcons.
loss.
Buccaneers what?
Buccaneers Vikings.
Sam Bradford doesn't play this week. I think I'm going to go with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with Tampa Bay. Even if Bradford plays, I think I'm still going to go with Tampa Bay.
Vikings defense bails them out here. Bucks lose it. Vikings win.
I think the Vikings defense is good enough to pull out this win, so I'm also gonna go with the Vikings. All right, not last matchup. Next up, Pats. What the hell is that?
Whoa.
Pats and Texans.
Patriots.
Yeah, I think the Pats win that one.
This is your pick that you take if you're in a pick'em league, a suicide league. You pick New England every time. Bill Belichick is undefeated when playing rookie quarterbacks, and that's not changing after this week.
I'm also going to go with the Pats. It's the clear and easy win. Seahawks Titans.
Man, this is going to be your poop fest of the week, if you will.
Oh, disrespecting.
No, it's just like every game Seattle plays is just like an ugly game. But I think Tennessee takes it. They're 2-1 after this week.
Yeah, this is a tough matchup. I think pretty close, but I think Tennessee wins also just because Seattle's defense hasn't really looked that great. But the Titans have been on fire. Take Tennessee.
Tennessee wins handily. Tennessee looks great, other than DeMarco Murray. But other than that, Tennessee looks great. They're going to win the division. They're going to win this week.
Man, I'm probably foolish for picking them, but I think the Seahawks are going to get on track sometime, and I feel like this is a good game for them to get on track. They're going to face harder people. I'm going to pick the Seahawks this week. Bengals Packers.
Man, Andy Dalton just proven that he is just not trying to win this season, and he continues that trend, and Green Bay wins.
Yeah, Green Bay definitely wins. Bengals haven't scored a touchdown in the first 2 weeks. Packers win easily.
Bengals fired their offensive coordinator after not scoring a touchdown their first 2 weeks. AJ Green's had enough, and he wills this team to the promised land. They upset Green Bay at Green Bay. Bengals win.
I'm going to go with Green Bay because they still have Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball, and he's a bad, bad man. Kansas City Chargers.
Man, remember that downward slope I was talking about for those Chargers? Let's talk about how that's not stopping anytime soon. Kansas City's proven that they might be the team to beat in the AFC. I'm picking Kansas City.
I'm also going to take the Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs are a top 3 team in the NFL. They win this handily.
Chiefs is a safe pick. I'm taking them too. Raiders or Redskins?
Okay, I respect Mario's top 3 team in the NFL, but they're going to be under Oakland this year, and Oakland is going to win it.
Yeah, I'm going to say Oakland will win this game.
Yeah, Oakland wins this game. Redskins look bad. They're not improving anytime soon. Kirk Cousins showing why the owners of the Redskins made the right call not giving him a long-term deal.
I think the Raiders win. I'm basically going off of the dancing of one Marshawn Lynch to tell me how great he feels about this team.
Just having a great time.
Having a great time. For the kids. It's doing so much good. All right, yeah. So I'm going to take the Raiders as well. Last up, Cowboys Cardinals.
Okay, well, this is going to be another ugly game, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that I think Zeke is very distracted. I think Dallas's defense isn't up to par. Granted, I know Arizona's hurt in a couple of positions, but I think Arizona pulls this one out. Close game, but I think Arizona pulls it out.
Yeah, this is tough. It's a primetime game, Monday night. I'm going to say the Cowboys win it, just because I think the Cardinals are still trying to find out their game plan without David Johnson. I think the Cowboys will come away in this game.
Cowboys win it. They don't get exposed again. Cardinals do not look like they're exposing anybody anytime soon. I think the pattern to how you beat the Cowboys is out there. I don't think they run a complicated offense. I think that it just comes down to their execution is so on point. And I don't see the Cardinals being able to out-execute Dallas. Dallas wins.